This is Dr. Masodan Reddy, Professor and Vice Principal, PBR WITS, Kavali. Already I started the circuit breakers. I covered in 3 videos. In the last session, I covered the last topic is types of circuit breakers. The types of circuit breakers I'll continue in this session. The types of circuit breakers are based on the medium which is used for arc extinction. Based on that, different types of circuit breakers are classified. Oil circuit breakers, air blast circuit breakers, SF circuit breakers, vacuum circuit breakers. Among all these 4 types of circuit breakers, in this session, I will cover oil circuit breakers and air blast circuit breakers, and we solve the one problem. So start with the oil circuit breaker. In this, first, before we start with the oil circuit breaker, so what is the basic property of, what is the necessity and what are the advantages of the oil? Then I'll continue with the in detail about the oil circuit breakers. So first of all, the mineral oil has a better insulating properties as well as a good cooling properties when compared with the air. So it is employed in many electrical equipments like transformers, starters of the induction motors, as well as circuit breakers. That is the main motive of this oil is employed in case of electrical equipment. So similarly, in case of the circuit breakers also, because of these 2 properties, using the oil. So if we all use the oil as arc extinguishing media, such as that type of circuit breakers are called as the oil circuit breakers. So then I'll give a small operation. This is a common for all the types of circuit breakers. In any circuit breaker, when the fault is developed, the moving contact is away from the fixed contact. Immediately, arc is formed between the 2 contacts. It is decomposed with the help of which decomposes the oil into the gases, meaning that the oil is decomposed into gas. Hence, the arc energy is absorbed and in decomposing the oil. That is the meaning that when this oil is forced between the 2 contacts, that oil is decomposed into the gases and which absorbs the energy. The arc energy is absorbed and which decomposes the oil. So that is the main principle of operation of a oil circuit breaker. So, but there is a small disadvantage is there in case of this oil circuit breaker. What is that? It is inflammable and may pose a fire hazard. So that is the basic idea about this oil circuit breakers. We'll go for further very in detail study about these circuit breakers in the coming slides. So these oil circuit breakers are further classified into 4 types. What are those? It is based on the constructional feature. Depends on the construction. There are 4 types of oil circuit breakers are available. Number 1 is plain oil circuit breaker. Number 2, self-generated reservoir oil circuit breakers. Number 3, double break oil circuit breakers. Number 4, bulk oil and minimum oil circuit breakers. As per your syllabus, bulk oil and minimum oil circuit breakers are only represented, even though we will cover all these four types in detail. Now I start with this first plain oil circuit breakers. Look over to this figure, plain oil circuit breakers, which contain the two contacts, fixed contact and moving contacts. These two contacts are dumped into oil or pushed in, placed into the oil within the chamber. The chamber containing this metallic part of this chamber, and which containing immersed the oil within this chamber, and this represents the oil level, and this is the a cushion, air cushion is placed in the oil tank. This is the tank. This is the complete a tank. Okay. So this moving contact move away from the fixed contact, or during the normal operation, this fixed contact and moving contacts are both closed in the position. When the fault is developed, immediately the moving contact move away from this fixed contact. Immediately arc is established between these two contacts. Whenever this arc is developed between these two contacts, already oil is immersed within these two. These two contacts are immersed into the oil. This oil decomposes into the gases, and this gas is obtained from the oil is mainly hydrogen in the nature. So therefore, the arc should be extinguished. But the volume of gases produced about 1,000 times of the oil decomposed. That is about the basic how we are extinguishing the arc whenever the fault is developed with the help of a oil circuit breakers. So then we'll come back to this. Arc quenching factors are is as follows. Number one is the elongation of the arc, meaning that how this arc is established, elongation of the arc. And number two is formation of gaseous medium between the fixed and moving contacts. This has high heat conductivity and high dielectric strength. Why? Because the arc is in the nature of the more energy developed in between the two contacts. That energy in the nature of the heat, whenever we pump this oil is decomposes. So because of that, the oil have heat, some heat property, as well as high dielectric strength property of the oil. Then number three is turbulent motion of the oil resulting from the gases passing through it, and that is about this. So whenever this oil is heated, the oil is moved from lower level to higher level. That is called as the turbulent motion of the oil. So because that resulted into the gases passing through it, that gas completely contained in the nature of hydrogen, and as well as which contain the two contacts, as well as two strokes are established in case of this a plain oil circuit breakers. Two strokes in this, one stroke is established in this, another stroke is established. So there are two strokes are applied for arc quenching. So these two, because of these two strokes, unequal voltage distributions are established between these two contacts of the circuit breakers between these two strokes. So that is the some of the disadvantage. One stroke, first stroke may take 25%, the second stroke may take 75%, or the first stroke may take 30%, the second stroke may take 70%, but never 50%, 50% voltage distribution will not never occur between these two strokes. That is on the drawback of this plain oil circuit breaker. So this plain oil circuit breaker is applicable for lower voltage levels and lower current rate applications only. That is about this plain oil circuit breakers. Next, the next is the second categorization of this oil circuit breaker is self-generated pressure oil circuit breaker. Self-generated pressure oil circuit breaker. Very simple. In this self-generated pressure oil circuit breaker, arc energy is utilized to generate high pressure, meaning that whenever this oil is pumped between these two contacts, immediately that oil is converted into the deionized into the gases. That gas is nothing but the high pressure is established in the chamber. So this chamber design, based on the chamber design, there are different types of self-generated pressure circuit breakers are classified. Those are explosion pot or pressure chamber or arc controlling devices. So the contacts are enclosed within the pot. The pot is made of insulating material and it is placed in the tank, so which have high interrupting capacity. And pressure is developed by the arc itself. It depends upon the magnitude of current, meaning that if the current is low, the development of the pressure is low. If the current is high, the development of the pressure is also high. So because of that, it's called as a self-generated pressure oil circuit breaker, which always depends on the magnitude of the current. So if current increases, the development of the pressure is also increases. If the current decreases, the development of the pressure is also decreases. So based on that, there are three types of pots are there. So those are plain explosion pot, cross jet explosion pot, and self-compensated explosion pot. So first, I'll start with the plain explosion pot. In case of this plain explosion pot, we see here there are two contacts. Number one is the moving contact and number two is the fixed contact. These two contacts are always closer to each other during the normal operation. Whenever the fault is developed, the moving contact is away from the fixed contact. Actually, it is not shown very largely, but it is, these two contacts are very closely connected to each other. So whenever this moving contact is away from the fixed contact, arc is developed between these two contacts. But already oil is immersed in the pot. Because of this, oil is converted into the gases, which produces a high pressure within the pot, because there is a close fitting throat at the lower end of the pot is applied. Show here, this is about the pot. These are all called as a pot fittings, nothing but the high pressure fitting throat. These two are called as the fitting throats. So because of this, high pressure is developed between these two contacts. So therefore, the arc should be quenches by applying, depends on this, how much of fault current is developed within the arc, depends on that. That much of pressure is established between these two contacts and arc should be quenching. So this type of plain explosion pot may not be currents, medium range currents and not applicable for high current ratings. It is applicable only for medium current rating applications, plain type of explosion pot. Next categorization is category of oil circuit breaker is cross jet explosion pot. It is a modification of a plain explosion pot. What we modified here, arc is splits. This arc splitters are used to obtain an increased arc length for a given amount of contact travel, meaning that we want to increase the arc resistance, and similarly the current flow through the arc decreases, and whenever the current flow through the arc decreases, increases the deionization particles of the arc. So therefore, even a small oil can extinguish this arc. So like this cross-jet explosion pot is modified into this arc is splitters. So see here, this is one splitter, this is one. So we split this arc, we split into the arc. So by splitting this arc, we can increase the resistance of the arc, and we can decrease the current of this arc. So we can extinguish this arc very easily. So this is the fixed contact, and this is the moving contact between these two contacts. Whenever this moving contact away from this arc is developed, but this arc is splitted. By splitting this arc, we can extinguish this arc. So that is about this project. Here also we see that how the arc is splitted, and this is about the cross-jet explosion pot. So this is some modification of a plain explosion type of pot. Then self-compensated explosion pot. It is a combination of both cross-jet and plain explosion pot. Upper portion is a cross explosion pot and lower portion is a plain explosion pot. How it is activated? On heavy currents, if the heavy currents developed, due to that, the arc phenomena is also more. In such a scenario, the rate of generation of the gas is very high, and consequently, the pressure produced is also very high. The pot operates as a cross-jet explosion pot. Cross-jet explosion pot, already told you, the arc is splitted and the arc length will be increases, and therefore resistance increases, and therefore the current decreases, and easily we can extinguish this arc. That is the phenomena of whenever this heavy currents flow through this, the same compensated explosion pot will be act as cross-jet explosion pot. If a small current, nothing but the low current is developed, due to that arc is also, the strengthness of the arc is also low. So meaning that a small magnitude of arc is developed. So because of that, the pressure is also low at the beginning. The arc is extinguished by the plain explosion pot action. Already we seen in case of the plain explosion pot, simply oil is pumped between these two contacts. So the arc should be extinguished. But this is suitable for low as well as high current interruptions. This self-compensated explosion pot type of oil circuit breaker is applicable. Next, we'll come back to this double break oil circuit breaker. So what is this double break oil circuit breaker? In case of the, it is a separate construction scenario. Up to right now, we've seen the only two contacts, fixed contact and moving contact. But in case of the double break oil circuit breakers, an intermediate contact is also employed between fixed and moving contact. That is the construction point of view. A double break oil circuit breaker is differed with the remaining types of, up to right now, what we studied, the remaining types of circuit breakers. So how it will be operated? When the moving contact separates during the fault conditions, the intermediate contact also follows the same principle of that a moving contact. It depends on the severity of the fault. The arc first appears between the fixed contact and the intermediate contact. And then after extinguishing this, after applying this oil, some force is developed, some energy is developed. That energy is taken, and that intermediate contact extinguish this arc. Sometimes it stops, and a second arc appears between the intermediate contact and the moving contact, and then the second arc is also extinguished quickly by employing gas pressure momentum developed by the first arc. Already I told you, generally oil is always decomposed into the gases which develops the pressure. So due to that, whatever arc extinguished in case of the fixed contact and intermediate contact, that gas pressure is used in case of the second arc extinguish technique. So that pressure, gas pressure will be used to extinguish developed by the second arc. So therefore, in this momentum developed by the first arc, that is about this double break oil circuit breakers. In such a way, we can extinguish this arc. Then we'll come back to the finally, we want to discuss about this bulk oil and minimum oil circuit breaker. Yeah, in this, it is also a different a constructional point of view. It is a different construction. In bulk oil circuit breaker, basically oil performs two functions. Number one is arc extinguishing. Number two is insulation. It provides like insulation between live terminals and earth. That is the basic property of the oil. Already we covered in the earlier also. But this minimum or bulk oil circuit breaker containing the two chambers, upper chamber and lower chamber. The upper chamber contains arc control device, fixed and moving contact. These two parts are placed in the upper chamber, and the lower chamber acts as insulating support, and it contains the operating mechanism, complete operating mechanism, as well as it has like a insulating support also. So these two chambers are filled oil, but they are physically separated from each other. That is very important. These two chambers are not physically linked up, physically separated. The arc control device is placed in a resin-bounded glass fiber cylinder. This cylinder is also filled with oil. So nothing but it's more protection is taken for arc control device. So arc control device is placed in a resin-bounded glass fiber cylinder. This cylinder is also filled with oil, no doubt about it. Then the fiber glass cylinder is then placed in a porcelain cylinder. More protection is taken. But between these two and glass fiber cylinder and porcelain cylinder, oil is filled. So then when we'll come back to the operation point of view, whenever this moving fault is developed, the moving contact is moved away from this fixed contact, and this oil is forced, and with the help of this control mechanism, so different types of already we've seen that whatever the part we can use in the earlier case of this whatever that self-generated plane explosion part or cross jet explosion part or self-compensated explosion part, whatever the type of part we can use to extinguish this arc in case of this bulk oil and minimum oil circuit breaker. So, but the control mechanism only it depends on the plane explosion part or cross jet explosion part or self-compensated explosion part. Will clarify that. So the operation is same. Whenever the moving contact away from this fixed contact, arc is developed. So based on this arc, oil is already pumped. This oil is converted into the decomposed into the gases, composed, and what that gas is made as a pressure. So because of that, the arc is extinguished. Minimum oil circuit breakers available in the voltage range of 3.3 kV to 420 kV, but nowadays these are replaced by SF6 circuit breakers. But the minimum oil circuit breaker generally employ a single interrupter per phase. These are the important points. Then we'll come back to this. Another type of circuit breaker, air blast circuit breakers. In case of this oil circuit breaker, we use the medium is oil for arc extinguishing. But whereas in case of this air blast circuit breaker, we are using air as a medium used for arc extinguishing. So, but how it is, what is the quantities of this oil, we will discuss. In air blast circuit breaker, this compressed air at a pressure of 20 to 30 kg per centimeter square is employed as an arc quenching medium. That is main important. So 20 to 30 kg per centimeter square, that much of pressure is applied. Pressure is compressed and applied to arc extinguish. And air blast circuit breakers are suitable for operating voltage of 132 kV and above. They also have been used in case of 11 to 33 kV range applications also. But we will discuss about these advantages and disadvantages. After then, we will discuss about this classification of air blast circuit breakers. So first, we go to the advantages of this air blast circuit breaker. So number one is, everyone knows that the first advantage is cheapness because of easily available and freely availability of the interrupting medium, and also chemical stability. That is the first advantage. The second is high speed operation. We can pump the air very fastly. And third is elimination of fire hazard. Whereas in case of the oil circuit breakers, there may be chance to fire hazard. Whereas in case of the air blast circuit breaker, there is no chance of this fire hazard. And short and consistent working time, and therefore less burning of contacts, meaning that short but consistent arc timing. So this is also drawback. What is the drawback? I will continue in the disadvantages. But it is advantage for will not burn this contact. That is the advantage of this. Next, less maintenance. Very easy to maintain this. Suitability for frequent operation. So we can use this air blast circuit breaker number of times we can operate, mean 100 times, 1000 times, or 10,000 times. If the fault is developed in the circuit breaker, we can use more number of times. That is about this frequent operation. And facility for high speed recloser. Yeah, definitely. Wherever we need this high speed recloser, already I told you what are the reclosers, auto reclosers, like our manual reclosers, wherever. So high speed reclosers, it can be useful. Then come back to these disadvantages of air blast circuit breakers. Number one is, it requires a separate compressor plant to be installed and maintained. To pump the air, we need that a separate compressor plant. That is the one of the disadvantage. Next, second disadvantage is problem of current chopping. Already I told you in the earlier session what is the current chopping. Irrespective of this magnitude of the interruption current, irrespective of the magnitude of the fault current, which produces a constant magnitude of air pressure. So that's why current chopping phenomena is established in case of the air blast circuit breakers. And problem of restriking voltage also. Problem of restriking voltage is also developed in case of this, the same phenomena. Because of that current chopping phenomena, restriking voltage is also established. It is appeared across the capacitors of the circuit breaker. And arc interruption, the air blast circuit breaker produces a high level noise also when air is discharged to the open atmosphere. Whenever we release that air, some noise is also established. These are the disadvantages of these air blast circuit breakers. But to avoid these disadvantages of either the current chopping as well the restriking voltage, we are using resistors and equalizing capacitors are connected across the interrupters to reduce transient over voltage using the resistors, and equalize the voltage across the breakers using the capacitors. We can rectify the problems or disadvantages with the help of resistors and capacitors. Then, based on this operation, based on how this air is pumped in between these two contacts, there are two classifications of air blast circuit breakers are classified. Number one is cross blast circuit breaker, and number two is axial blast circuit breakers. First, I'll go through the cross blast circuit breakers. In this cross blast circuit breaker, whatever the circuit breaker which contain the two contacts, fixed contact and moving contact, and this moving contact during the fault away from the fixed contact, then immediately arc is developed. To extinguish this arc, in case of this cross blast circuit breakers, apply a high pressure air is directed perpendicular to the arc, for its interruption. So therefore, it is the classification of this cross blast circuit breaker. In cross blast circuit breakers, the force of the air is applied in a perpendicular to the arc for arc interruption. So the arc is forced into a suitable chute. So these cross blast circuit breakers are suitable for interrupting high current up to 100 kiloamperes at comparatively low voltages. Then axial blast circuit breakers. Here, the applied pressure or applied air is changed. How? In axial blast type circuit breaker, a high pressure blast of air is directed longitudinally like this, longitudinally. That is in line with the arc, that is nothing but in coordinate with the arc, nothing but the in line with the arc. So longitudinally, the pressure of air is applied. So this type of circuit breakers are named as axial blast circuit breakers. So we remember the difference between axial blast circuit breakers and radial and cross blast circuit breakers. Axial blast circuit breakers are suitable for EHV and super high voltage applications, whereas the cross blast circuit breakers are applicable for high current applications but low voltage. That is the difference. So it is applicable for high current applications, whereas axial blast circuit breakers are applicable for high voltage, extra high voltage, and super high voltage applications, because interacting chambers can be fully enclosed in porcelain tubes. That is about these axial blast circuit breakers. So this is about the air blast circuit breakers. Then I'll go through this problem. For a 132 kV system, the reactance and capacitance up to the location of the circuit breaker is 3 ohm and 0.015 microfarad respectively. Calculate the following: the frequency of transient oscillation, the maximum value of restriking voltage across the contacts of the circuit breaker, the maximum value of RRV. So for this, I'll solve the problem. First, we want to calculate the frequency of transient oscillation. Nothing but Fn. Therefore, Fn is equal to here 1 by 2 pi into root LC. But here, the values of C is given, but L is not given. But we can able to calculate but their reactance is given. XL is given. XL is equal to 2 pi F into L. Therefore, L is equal to XL divided by 2 pi F. It should be equal to XL. XL is 3 ohm divided by 2 pi into 50. So it should be equal to 0.00954 henries. So this is the value of this. So the frequency. So you want to calculate the frequency. First we want to calculate the L. So then only go for it, substituting of this L and C values. So next, Fn is equal to 1 by 2 pi into square root of, L mean 0.0094 and 0.00954 into C is 0.015 into 10 power minus 6. 10 power minus 6. It should be equal to, here 10 power 5 divided by 2 pi into 1.1962 is equal to 10 power 5 divided by 7.524 is equal to 13.29 kilohertz. That is the frequency. So this is the natural frequency. So we did determine. Then the second is maximum value of restriking voltage. So this is the F value, Fn. What is the Fn value? So this is the Fn value, 13.29 kilohertz. Next we'll come back. Second is B. The restriking voltage Vc is equal to, already we derived earlier, E into 1 minus cos of omega nt, and therefore maximum value of restriking voltage, the maximum value of restriking voltage, maximum value of restriking voltage is equal to 2 into E peak. 2 into E peak. So is equal to here. So what is this E peak? Already whatever that voltage of this 2 times phase voltage. We need the phase voltage. So therefore this 132 kV is a line voltage. So V phase is equal to VL by root 3, and this is the RMS value, but we require maximum value. So maximum value nothing but VRMS is equal to V maximum by root 2. V maximum is equal to root 2 into VRMS. So therefore we substitute this root 2. So finally we are getting these values of 215.56 kV. So this is about the maximum value of restriking voltage. Maximum value of restriking voltage. So this is the value of 215.56 kilovolts. Then C bit, the maximum value of RRV. The maximum value of RRV. is equal to, what is the formula? Omega n into E peak. Here we know that omega n means 2 pi into Fn into E peak, you know that? So 132 divided by root 3, nothing but the phase voltage. It's the RMS value. We require the maximum peak and peak mean maximum value. So E peak is nothing but. So then you'll go for it 2 into pi into Fn. Already we know that value 13.29 into 10 power 3 into 132 by root 3 into root 2. So therefore it should be equal to, finally we are getting as 9010.45 into 10 power 6 volts per second. Volts per second is equal to here 9.01045 kilovolts per second, per microseconds. Kilovolts per microseconds. So this is about this value. So you understood that 9.01045 kilovolts per microsecond. This is the value of maximum value of rate of rise of restriking voltage, or rate of increase of restriking voltage. So this is about the solution for this problem. Thank you. Stay at home. Stay safe. All the best. Thank you once again.